And then this year he took it one step better by being named the best defensive player. Rebounded to Weekly.
Boy, you knew when he let that one go that that wasn't going to go in. I'll tell you, he's only a 66% free throw shooter.
Shambles' pass is blocked, but Sams will take it. Intercepted by Blair. There's the quickness you talked about earlier, the anticipation.
See, and the other thing, JP, is when you're not shooting well, and they have been struggling, Illinois State, on the offensive end, you've got to do it with defense, and they're starting to do it with defense. They're creating offense with their defense.
That's 2 points right off of that defense.
Sure, absolutely. They have turned it up a notch defensively, but they have really struggled offensively, and now it's helping because Drake's struggling on offense.
Welcome the crowd back. Welcome Sam Rourke back, and he hits it.
Now, I'd say that's pretty good judgment. If you're going to get into that kind of a game, you ought to get the ball into the hands of your best player and your best scorer, and that's what they did.
I didn't see Rourke check back in, but he came in for Powell during that last free throw.
How many's Jackson got? They have really done a good job on Ricky Jackson.
Now he has 6. Ask and I'll tell you, he had 3 before that one. Sam Rourke has not missed, though, from the floor. He's 5 for 5. You want to get it into Sam's hands if you're Drake.
Boy, great help. Did you see Coleman shift off, took the baseline away, and then recovered? That's what I'm talking about. Help and recover. They do it very, very, very well.
Weekly.
See, now this is where you've got to be patient because you got to break down the defense. That's it. Wait a minute.
They didn't stop playing.
Oh, that official blew his whistle and everybody stopped playing because he thought the Drake player had travel. That's what Bob Bender got so excited about. Now somebody blew a whistle. I'm not saying that it was that referee right there. That's what Bob Bender is saying. Because everybody stopped playing thinking that it was a travel call, and that's what I honestly felt. Now we've got to get it straightened out.
All I can read is Bob saying it doesn't matter. He's hot.
Yeah, he's hot. Now they got 2 of them over there. There are only 5 correctable errors now. One is a failure to award a merited free throw. A second is awarding an unmerited free throw. The third is permitting the wrong player to attempt a free throw, then attempting a free throw at the wrong basket. And the 5th one is erroneously counting or canceling a score. That's not one of them. An inadvertent whistle. That's exactly what happened. They wound up penalizing Drake, and you cannot do that, JP, even if you're wrong, and I give him more credit for saying, hey, we made a mistake, we've got to give that ball back to that team.
Shamble with it. Did you think there was a travel or no?
I thought there was a travel, yes. But the players didn't.
All the way across the Shamble. Eddie Fields came over and he said, hey, let him call a timeout if you want to talk about it. Donaldson. Eddie didn't like what the crowd was doing, getting really into it and being so supportive there. He wanted to try and do something else. Sams, great reaction by Kevin Sams. His first 2.
Anything he gets is going to be a plus because he's really been struggling and hasn't scored in 2 of the last 5 games. So if they get something out of him, look at the help. Look at how they're reacting and they're switching.
On the baseline, the miss, the follow-up by Blair. 27-24, Illinois State. This is as close as they've come by 3. The lead had been 11 by Drake at one time.
Both teams have really turned it up a notch defensively. If you see poor shooting, give it more credit to the defense than to the poor shooting.
Illinois State will have the ball. Some aggressive defense there underneath. The lead has been cut to 3. It once was 11. Illinois State on the comeback trail. We'll be back after this message from Pepsi. Around. They're only down by 3.
Well, I think they've turned it around by defense at that end and by increasing the tempo a little bit because it was obvious that the crowd wasn't in the game and they created some offense out of their defense, and now I think they're getting in a sync a little more at the offensive end, so they've got both things going for them. I think the last 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes here, JP, are very critical for Drake. You can play well for 16, but let it get right out of hand going into the halftime.
The way Drake has played, they need a reward. They need to go in at the half, still with a lead, I think.
They've lost their patience. He's got another call.
Shamble.
A slap right there. Remember, if he hits the hand is part of the ball, and that's legal, but he just got a slap. The ironic part about it is the official was staying about 2 feet away.
There's a former member of the Globetrotters, Eddie Fields. He played for them after graduating from Oklahoma, where he was a two-time All-Big 8 player, drafted by the Bulls, but chose to go the Globetrotters route. Here's Ricky Jackson, and they really need for him to light it up. He has 6 points total today or tonight, but they both come on the three-point shot. He has not really put his mark on this game yet. Jackson playing as Bob Bender looks on with his mother, stricken with cancer, and he took a day off from a game, went to visit her back in Michigan, and then came back after that, scored 32 against Creighton. So he's been playing with an awful lot on his mind.
And lost the game when he did have to go to spend time with his mother. He struggled when he came back for the next game until about halftime, and then got in sync. Look, you can tell how Illinois State has picked it up a notch defensively.
It's a 1-point lead.
They're really forcing Drake into some bad shots.
The jumper from Coleman is in and out. Pemberton stepped on the line.
And got our camera person, right?
Did he get him?
Oh, got him. Almost put him to the floor, but that's not bad by a camera person because he recovered. Good foot action.
Especially since this is his third game, and you know the reflexes get a little slower.
Illinois State, JP, are really taking Drake out of their comfort zone, and that's what I like about the defense that they play. I love aggressive man-to-man, belly-to-belly defense. The shot clock, 45-second clock, there it goes back on now, and they have really forced Drake out of their comfort zone. They're overplaying him, and what I mean by that is when they overplay him, the Drake people are moving further out on the floor. You're not used to shooting from that spot on the floor, and you're not comfortable there, and you wind up taking shots you're not used to taking.
Shamble will come back against Thomas.
They just have not gotten into any kind of an offense. They're not spreading them out and taking away the weak side help. That's got to be a block. What'd he get?
Weekly got it. I didn't see if they're counting it. Yes.
Yep. But is he going to the other end? Called it on Drake, but he's giving him the basket. Now, here's what you have to find out. Was the ball released? Was the ball released? No, that's a bad call. That is a bad call, my friends. The judgment on this call, JP, is if the ball has been released and he hits that man, then it's not a player control, but if he, see, that's a player control because the ball wasn't released when he made the contact, and it should have been player control.
Spoken like a true ex-referee.
Well, after 20 years, I guess I know 1 or 2 rules.
I'll give you that. Here's Jackson at the line. Good rotation on that one.
And I'm not going to say what most people say because it angers me. I guess I shouldn't say angry. That's not worth getting angry about. But what happens is they'll say they make the call and then both coaches are happy. You give them the basket at one end, you go down to the other end, they shoot a couple of free throws, they make them, and everyone's happy. That used to just irritate me a bit when people would say that.
Jackson now is in double figures, but he still hasn't really put his stamp on the game. He hasn't carried this team offensively like he can.
See, now they got the break. They've got the numbers, and they've got nice recovery. Holy cow.
Jackson.
Oh, see, that's what I mean. When you've got that kind of quickness, you can afford to press because your people can rotate back so well that you can get away with stuff. But I do fault Drake at the same time, JP, because I thought they didn't take advantage of it and didn't drive up the floor as quickly as they should have.
If it goes down to the bench, Bob Bender's got the deeper one, and he's been going to it quite a bit in the early part of the first half.
There's the zone on the out-of-bounds zone. Good movement. Good movement by the zone.
Bad pass, and Fowler's there.
There are zones and there are zones. You can stand around when you play a zone, but if you've got player movement, then I like those zones, and that's exactly what Illinois State has.
Thomas calling the play from the bench.
Tell you, watch what happens if they score here. Watch what happens if they score.
How about listen to what happens?
That'd be all we have to do. Oh, nice defense.
There's Paul Weekly again. He's been one of the best players for either side. He walked before it. That's tough. When you get the turnover, then you give it right back up.
And that was bad judgment on his part. He's yelling at one of his own players because I think he was yelling at Sam Rourke. I'm not sure whether he was or not. But what happened is he got distracted by the defensive play. Now he's taking him off. He's taking him right out. That's a good change because he had lost his composure. But he got distracted by the Illinois State player, and then instead of coming back out, then he just committed the turnover.
Well, change the graphic on turnovers. It was even at 5, and then Illinois State lost it. You know, they're still not in sync, but they've got to be happy that they're only 1 point down.
Listen, remember what I've said to you a lot of times, JP, when teams aren't playing well, I always say sometimes it's because the other team isn't letting them play well. And the defensive pressure from both teams here, their quickness, the pressure, the denials, everything, I think is very, very good.
Remember last year, Drake upset Bradley in the first round, and then they lost Sam Rourke to a serious knee injury. So for Rourke, this is his final shot of the tournament, and he's playing like it is. There he goes, but it's an offensive foul. No. Oh, I thought they were calling it on Rourke, but they're not.
Oh, they got a disagreement. We got another call from outside. A travel. See what Eddie Childs, he's out of the coaching box.
Eddie Fields is coming over.
Oh, wait a minute.
How far out is it?
Eddie Fields is out of the coaching box.
While we're on this replay, Eddie Fields was to half court.
Oh, man. He got away with it.
Yeah.
Because that's an automatic. Look at it.
That's technical foul territory.
You bet it is. You step out of that coaching box. Now, the reason that happens is that the first call, which was the travel that the outside man had, took precedence over the call inside, just so our viewers and our listeners will understand.
Oh, it's contagious. Fowler travel.
May not be a very pretty game right now, but I'll tell you, as long as they keep playing defense the way they are, I'm a fanatic on defense. Free throws and defense, my two favorite subjects if you want to talk about it. But I give these people credit because they're really working at it.
Here comes Trammell the other way. Almost stolen. Sams will put it up, and he hits it. Kevin Sams with 4 points. He's averaged 12 this year, but most of that in his starting role.
Very good. Keep the ball off of the floor. Keep it off of the floor. Pass over that trap.
Richard Thomas, freshman against the senior Trammell.
Good motion. They're using motion, passing, moving, and screening. That's the way to come to the ball.
Fowler's been on fire. He has 10 points.
See, you got to take the ball to the action, JP. You can't make 20 and 30-foot passes. You've got to take the basketball to the action, and that's what they did.
Low to Sams. He took the shot. He had Donaldson wide open on the baseline, and either didn't see him or chose not to go that way.
I'll tell you one thing, Bob Bender's going to have a cardiac before this is over, I'll tell you, if he survives this game or if he goes on for the next 1 or 2.
I said he's the youngest coach in the league.
Man.
He was at the start of the game.
You bet.
He's aged about 3 or 4 years.
I said to you the last time they might as well sell his seat because he hasn't been in it since the game started. They're going to get the last one, it looks like, Jay. They're spreading them out right now.
Here's Thomas coming back against Trammell. Puts it up. Oh, what a basket.
The basket by Richard Thomas. Charge that foul of 32, Sam Rourke, his third.
Richard Thomas scored the basket.
I'll tell you, I have to be truthful with you because I didn't see where the contact came on the part of Sam Rourke. I saw some contact, and I'll tell you where. First of all, Shamble should have gotten to the baseline and cut right there, right there. Now, that's a foul. Well, I don't know how Rourke got in on it, but I guess it looked like a reach-in right there that they called. But I'll tell you, there was plenty of body contact right before that. And that was Shamble, I believe, because he just let that man, Thomas, take the baseline, and instead of cutting him off where he had nowhere to go, he let him get by him, and you simply cannot do that.
You saw earlier some good numbers for Thomas, a freshman, who made the Missouri Valley Conference All-Newcomer team. He missed a chance to tie the score. They can take the last shot, Drake can. Down to 11 seconds.
And now is when they should start making a move. More teams wait. Look, see, it's almost too late to get a second or third effort. Look at it.
What do you mean almost? Now they're going to give them the last shot to Illinois State.
I'm going to add that to my list of things. That is another thing that makes me very upset. I see more teams wait, JP, to get into their last second offense, and then they start panicking. They don't get a shot, or they throw up bad shots, and they don't get a chance to pound the board with about 4 people.
3 seconds left. Bob Bender has told Pemberton what to do. This might be a football pass.
Yeah, but that's a lot of time. I don't think you should throw it away. There's a lot of time left. Now they've got 2 more seconds, I assume. I don't think you have to throw the ball 94 feet when there's 3 seconds left on the clock, because the clock's not going to start until somebody touches it. Now they can set up something because they've got 2 seconds, and that's a long time.
Drake touched the ball. That's why possession goes the other way. It'll be inbounded by Jackson. Pemberton's going to put it up. It'll count, but it's not good. So the first half has come to an end, but the fans here have got to love it. It has not been a pretty game, but their team was down by as many as 11 points at one time, and now they could have had the lead, but they have closed the gap to within 1. Score at the end of the first half, 32-31. We'll come back after we hear from Bob Lewandowski.
All right, we may have an upset in the making. We've got a good one going for you. 32-31, ISU getting their first lead of the game coming. They're very late in the first half. We'll have the Pepsi halftime report coming up in just a moment. Tom Wallace, the president of ISU, will join me when we come back. Welcome back to Redbird Arena, everybody. We've got a dandy in the making. A 1-point lead for Illinois State, playing here in front of a loud hometown crowd. Hi again, everybody. I'm Bob Lewandowski. Time now for the Pepsi halftime report. And joining me up here in the booth right now is Mr. Tom Wallace, the president of Illinois State University. And Tom, first of all, you were telling me just a moment ago how the season kind of takes a toll on you, doesn't it?
It sure does. I can say in the beginning of the season it was sort of relaxed, come and enjoy a fun game. But as we've gotten closer to this day, you get a little tenser as the action goes on. It's been a very exciting season for us.
Illinois State, kind of a rejuvenation with the basketball program here, and your school should be commended. Nothing but compliments for the way this tournament is being run, and a record ticket sales as well, I'm told.
That's correct. We've had an awful lot of support from the community, a lot of volunteer time to help us with the details. We hit about 80% of our season ticket holders who bought tickets for this tournament. So we've had just remarkable success in putting this thing together. It's the first one we've done. I think everybody wanted to demonstrate that we could do it first class, and we've done it first class.
Can you give our viewers any idea of how many people and the kind of money involved it takes to put something like this on?
Oh, I really couldn't. It's been over a year in planning, and it's just a very large operation. And we try to make a little bit of money for this to get divided up among the institutions, but mainly we're trying to put on a first-class program and not necessarily make money.
What do you think of the rest of the tournament now? You got Illinois State here, one of the favorites, and they're struggling against the Drake team that's playing all out.
That's correct. Well, I think one of the elements of success here and the excitement for this tournament has been that this has been a strange season with so many teams beating each other 1 out of 2 times. So I think there are a number of teams that could end up walking away with this tournament championship.
Your thoughts on moving the tournament to a neutral site for the first time next season in St. Louis? How do you think that'll work out?
Well, I think we need to try that. I have some reservations about it. I think the kind of excitement you see here being rotated among the member universities long term is just going to have a very positive influence on the conference. And I think we're going to lose that.
What you might lose, though, in local fan support, maybe you'll gain on the corporate side. Do you see it that way?
Well, I think what we're a trial and error kind of process. Take it to a neutral site like St. Louis, open it up to more people, not necessarily connected with the universities, perhaps, but it'll make more money, give the conference more visibility, and we'll see how much the fans suffer from not being able to get there. And I think I'm interested in seeing what it'll do, but I have some serious reservations about it as a long-time strategy.
Hey, thank you very much. Tom Wallace, the president of Illinois State University. We are at the intermission, and the Redbirds with a narrow lead over the Drake Bulldogs. We'll have the highlights coming up after this. We are at the intermission, and this hometown crowd still could play a big role as Illinois State with a 1-point lead over Drake. An unexpected challenge from the Bulldogs, and you have to appreciate Coach Eddie Field's go-for-broke strategy. I think right off the bat you could see the way they had wanted to attack Illinois State, and that was just go right at them. They didn't stand around waiting for the crowd to take control. They just took it to the hoop weakly. And Rourke right now with 10 points at the half, but he is in a bit of foul trouble with 3 personal fouls. He hit the bench there late in the first half. Illinois State, Scott Fowler, Ricky Jackson leading the way. We'll be seeing some highlights in just a moment. Let's take a look at the brackets and show you what has happened thus far in today's contest. Southern Illinois, a winner over Indiana State, and they will meet Tulsa, who knocked off Bradley. The Braves, second year in a row, they get knocked out in the first round of the tournament. We'll be back with more basketball from Illinois State University. The Redbirds lead by 1. An entertaining first half. We've got 20 minutes more to keep you entertained. It should be this one looks like a nail biter. It's breaking down to that right now. We're going to get a look at the halftime highlights sponsored by our good neighbor friends at State Farm, and a good one going for you right now. To the highlights, we will first see for Illinois State. This is Randy Blair going inside, voted the defensive player of the year, can score some too as he takes it down the middle there. Now watch Sam Rourke. He'll be number 32 as he gets it inside. Drake really attacked well early on. They got high percentage shots and made a good portion of them. Rourke with 10 points, but he has 3 fouls. We'll have to watch that situation. Now Ricky Jackson. Three-pointer, little string music from way outside. Beautiful shot. Coming up now, we'll see Kevin Sams, the big man, inside for the Bulldogs. Shamble feeding it there. Sams, great fake. Could have been a foul there, did not call it. And Drake really giving the Redbirds all they want right now. They read most of the way, but Illinois State grabbed the lead late in the first half, and that's the story, a 1-point lead for the Redbirds. Just moments away from the second half tip-off, and the Drake Bulldogs posing a serious threat to the Illinois State Redbirds title chances. And right now, for a numerical breakdown of the first half, let's rejoin my partners, JP Delacamera and Jim Gibbons.
Thank you, Bob. After trailing by as many as 11, Illinois State rallied to take a 1-point lead into their locker room at halftime. And we're going to show you how when we take a look at our Coors Light halftime stats. Maybe that'll tell us something, Jim.
Well, I'm telling you, look at the field goals right there. You're going to see Drake is shooting 49%, and they're shooting 52 at the half. They've got to be very pleased with that on the road. Besides, Illinois State is only shooting 43%, and they're at 46 right now. The nothing on the 3 points, because there's only been 7 taken by Illinois State and only 3. Neither one a big 3-point shooting team. You've got the free throws, not much of a significance there. I do see 5 offensive rebounds for Illinois State. I'm always looking for that. Only 3 for Drake. The turnovers, you've got 7 for each club, and I keep saying to you, you look at offensive rebounds because they represent second chances, and you look at turnovers because they represent chances lost, and I think those 2 things are very critical.
Eddie Fields has to be very happy with his performance from his team, because one of the things that he probably feared was trailing early. But look at the points he's getting. Look at the balanced scoring. 10 from Rourke, 6 from Weekly. That has helped his team stay in this game, because if he had trailed early in the game, then watch out. When the crowd gets in, and Illinois State with Fowler and Jackson now kicking in with 10 each, could have been trouble.
Illinois State, you've got 2 people. Scott Fowler kept Illinois State in the game the first 6 or 8 minutes. He has 10, and Ricky Jackson has 10. Fowler had 4 turnovers besides, and that doesn't help.
It'll be interesting to see how the next 3-4 minutes go here. See if Drake will come back to the way they played before, or if Illinois State will put their stamp on this game.
That's great, JP, because that's what I was going to say, and I think it's more critical for Drake to have a good 4 or 5 minutes to start this second half than it is for Illinois State, because I think Illinois State is on the way back.
Shamble, and a tip underneath. I think it's Robinson that got it.
What did I tell you? That's their best offense right there, is keeping that ball alive and getting second and third. They have great quickness to that offensive glass. Both of these teams do, and that's why boxing out, it seems so trite when coaches say it, but that's the name of the game.
Here's Ricky Jackson. Fowler put it down on the floor and got the 2.
How's that for body control? He knew he was going to get hammered. He thought he was, and he shifted his body into a position where he protected the ball by getting his left arm out and had a chance to get it up on the glass. Both teams in a man-to-man.
Weekly, not in any rush right now. Out to Donaldson.
Now, I'm trying to figure, I'm going to see what happened now. If Drake spreads them out, oh, see, that's just out of control right there.
Shamble walked into that.
You bet. He just threw away. That's a turnover right there. Anytime that happens, you might as well mark that down as a turnover.
As Thomas went in, he walked.
Number 1, he played out of control. I'm not talking about Thomas. I'm talking about Shamble. He played out of control, number 1, and number 2, he left his feet. God, if you're going to leave your feet, you better be getting the ball up in the glass. That better be the reason you're leaving your feet.
Shamble will bring it back against Thomas.
I'm anxious, JP. The reason I hesitated before was to see if Drake was going to spread out the floor. Because if they spread out the floor, Illinois State's going right to a 2-3 zone.
Weekly found an open door. He has 8 points. Thomas coming in. Weekly trying to close out his career on a bang. Here's Coleman. Now to Blair. Fowler. Knocked away by Robinson. It stays there.
See, Ricky Jackson was standing way out at the top of the key. I mean, way out. They just didn't even guard him. His man was standing at the free throw line extended, just trying to help out inside, but letting Jackson wander out there anywhere he wanted.
How long will they let him wander if they don't recognize him?
They'll let him take that shot from out there, I'll tell you. He's not gonna hurt him as much out there as he is if he gets that ball inside.
Jackson will try it. Got it.
There's a guy that's shooting 33% from three-point range, and he's hit a couple of them tonight.
That's his third.
NBA quality.
That's his third. Maybe he knows there's some NBA scouts watching. Shamble to Donaldson. Weekly on his drive, nowhere to go. It looked like he walked. Bob Bender's jumping up and down on that bench. Missed shot from Drake. And it goes the other way.
Boy, Drake has had the handle on that basketball a lot of times on that defensive glass. I've got to give them credit. They put that triangle up there, and they make it very difficult for you to get inside of them for second and third efforts.
Coming back the other way. Jackson to Thomas.
2-2-1, but that's just token. That's very passive, just to slow them down a bit.
The jumper is good from Gerard Coleman.
And if he gets hot, that is going to be a big plus for Illinois State, and that's going to mean danger for Drake.
You know, that's his first 2. He's been averaging 12, but as you said, he's been hot the last 4 or 5 games.
Well, we saw him here against Bradley when he looked like he was a first-team All-America.
Here's Rourke. Maybe it's you bring out the best in him. Down low, it's taken away. Drake will get it back. Good hands from Rourke.
Rourke has got to learn, JP, that he's got to pound it out. They are triple teaming Rourke when he gets the basketball.
But a foul on Illinois State. I believe it's on 14 Thomas. Oh no, they say it's 23. Jackson.
I mean, you watch. I want our viewers to watch. The next time that ball goes into the post, they are running not one person, but it's called running at the pivot. They are running at least 2 people at Rourke. And now he's got to give that ball up. And the place you hurt people the most, JP, is if you throw it to the opposite side, to the weak side. That person is usually wide open, and Sam's going to have to start doing that.
That last foul was Blair's, by the way. Robinson walked with the ball. Blair committed the last foul, and during that change, Pemberton checked into the lineup, replacing Fowler for Illinois State.
He's given them some good minutes tonight, John has.
Thomas beat 2 players on the dribble. Off the pick from Blair. Now it's Ricky Jackson. Rourke is on him. Must be a mismatch down low somewhere.
They're just switching down low. Number 44, Terry Robinson, and number 42, Weekly. They're just switching on those big people.
Another travel. So it's going to go back the other way. I'll tell you, Drake still playing like they can win this game. They're only down by 4 points, but Illinois State has been unable to run away from them. Still, like you said in the first half, they've not been able to get their offense in gear.
I'll tell you one thing, JP, with 16 minutes to play and you're only down 4, you darn well better be playing like you're still in it.
There's Weekly on the baseline, nowhere to go. Rourke right back in, and Jackson got him.
See, I just get upset with Drake because they've got some very talented athletes on the floor, and when they play with some purpose in mind, JP, they can do things. But, you know, we refer to it as touches, and they just aren't patient enough to move the ball enough and break down the defensive enough, and then they wind up turning it over or taking a very bad shot in the process.
Illinois State with the lead. We'll be back after this word from Pepsi. One at the half. They're at 39-35 right now. Drake, got to give them credit. They have played very well in this game. It's not just that Illinois State is not doing the things they're capable of. Drake has prevented them from doing some of those things, especially the way they started. They started on their own to take control of things offensively. And defensively, Drake has done a nice job as well. Here are the Bulldogs. Robinson to Donaldson. Rourke, great dish.
Boy, that is great execution. Did you see the weak side help by Illinois State? And the Drake people really rotated themselves into a position because they saw the rotation coming and they were wide open underneath. That was great.
Bulldogs are within 2, and it's going the other way.
There were 2 teams that time, JP. Both of them executed perfectly. Illinois State did exactly what they had to do in terms of rotation, and Drake saw it and responded. Both teams, that was excellent.
Here's Chamble the other way. He is a senior from Harvey, Illinois, to Robinson. It's the same unit that started the game. 5 seniors for Drake, and he feels if he's going to go out, he's going out with experience.
Yeah, I think they ought to get that ball to Robertson and let him match 1-on-1 on Pemberton.
The kick out to Donaldson. He'll take the jumper. It doesn't go. They could have tied it. Thomas gets him running to Blair. Blair looking. Pemberton posting low. They'll give it a Fowler. He's got it. Chamble lost it up the play. The pressure's building, and maybe Drake feels it a little bit.
I'll tell you, for a guy that's not an offensive threat, that's what you've got down here. He rotates in and out till he got a starting role. I'm talking about Scott Fowler. I'm telling you, he has really had a big, big night. He has 14 points, and as I said, he carried Illinois State for about the first 8 minutes.
Here comes Antoine Hicks in front of his coach, Bob Bender. You better not make a mistake right there in front of your coach.
Illinois State is 4 of 4 now in the second half. They're being patient. They're getting the ball to the people in the right places.
That one looked good, but it didn't work for Coleman. Chamble coming back on the dish. He gave it away. Oh, Ricky Jackson did some nice tricks with the ball.
Boy, I want to tell you, that is absolutely great hustle. Very poor judgment on the other end.
Goodbye.
I think he ought to get a timeout right now, Eddie Fields. That's bad judgment on Weekly's part, JP, because he knew he had no weak side help. You can't get out and play a man in front or that far on the side because he's simply going to screen you off. Now we got Rourke with a foul.
That's the score.
They're playing out of control right now, and you watch. Did Eddie get a timeout?
Now he did,
yes.
But if he called it when you said he did, or should have, Rourke would have been spared the 4th foul. The biggest lead of the day for Illinois State. The crowd will tell you the story. The Redbirds are up by 6 over Drake.
We got from Bob Bender, if you'll recall, was stopped, and that was defensive transition. And that's exactly what we're talking about right there. 30 of the 60 points in the last game came off of lay-ins like that, and that's why Bob said you got to contain the ball. Don't let them get that. Now, there's what I was talking about. There's no weak side help there. Give the credit to Illinois State because they pulled it away, but number 44, Terry Robinson, tried to come out and front that man, and you can't do it if you haven't got any weak side help.
Drake can't buy one from 3. Illinois State, 3 for 8. But neither team, as Jim said, is up there among the league leaders in that category. A layup. Alvin Flores. His first 2. Kalen Green will bring it back, and now the crowd is very much alive.
Illinois State has settled in. They're in their comfort zone right now, both offensively and defensively, and they're starting to dissect. They are really playing very smart basketball at both ends.
Drake lost it.
They, my friend, have self-destructed. This may be a blowout before it's over, depending on how hard Drake wants to respond.
Coming right back the other way. This is Flores. They'll bring it back out to Hicks. Bob Bender has everyone's attention. He's telling them what to do down this end.
They're going to use that simple motion. They're in the double low now with a lot of moving, passing, and screening.
Fowler. That's the first shot Fowler's taken that you'd have to question. Weekly committed the foul.
But I want to tell you something, and I saw this happen in a couple of times in the first couple of games. Watch this now for our youngsters. I'm not going to watch anything until it comes back off here now. Coleman's got that rebound. He knows that he can't make this shot. Look, there's no way, but he knows that he has got to get that ball up on the glass because you and I have done some games where we've seen people drop kick them in practically when they had no chance. As long as you throw it up there, you can never tell, and you're giving yourself a chance at a three-point play if it happens to go in.
Coleman shoots 64% from the free throw line. Give him 5 points so far. He's been averaging 12 a game this year, a little bit better. And he rebounds well also. It's his last chance as a senior. A 7-0 run here in the last 2 minutes for Illinois State.
I'll tell you why it's a 7-0 run, because Drake hasn't even gotten a shot at the basket.
Shamble.
I think maybe the last 3 possessions, JP, they have not gotten a shot at the basket. Watch them turn up that defense.
Rourke has nowhere to go, and he walked. He put himself in a tough spot.
Absolutely, and that's why I keep saying to you from game to game, once defensively you pin a person under that glass, stay right there. Don't commit a stupid foul, because if he comes into you, that's an offensive player control. He got frustrated because he got some weak side help. They doubled him, and he traveled in the process.
Blair, if he loses it there, it could have been an easy one. Almost a double dribble.
You can recover.
Two-shot foul and looking Flores's way. Drake lost a good opportunity. If that ball bounced better right at the half-court line, they would have had an easy basket the other way.
You can dribble, fumble. Okay. Take a look. Good behind the back, and you'll see the contact, the reach in right there. Good camera work, my friends. You can fumble, dribble, and fumble, but you can't dribble, fumble, and dribble. That's an old saying.
Wait a minute, say that again.
You can dribble, and then you can fumble the ball, but you can recover it, but you can't dribble again, JP. You can, conversely, you can do the other. Okay? Have I got you confused?
No, but I liked the way you said it better. I like you said it better the first time.
Really, and that's a rule that a lot of people don't know. You can recover a fumble, but you can't pick it up and start dribbling it again. And that's what happened out here when the crowd was yelling.
Weekly. Looking for his 10th point of the night. Got it.
Now they'll go right into that pressure.
47-39.
1-2-1-1. Now they've got the numbers. See what happens. They've got the numbers.
Blair trying to get fancy behind the back. Shamble will take it down to Sam for the easy layup.
Good transition. That's a 4-point turnaround right there. A 4-point turnaround. And you're right about Randy Blair. I was surprised he did that, especially when they had the numbers.
I think he's coming out. Maybe he was coming out anyway, but that couldn't have helped. Weekly will have his 4th foul, and I'll tell you what, they cannot afford Weekly to go out. Same with Sam Rourke. They have been 2 very strong players for them. Eddie Fields wants to keep Weekly in check. He doesn't want to take him out. He has meant so much to this team, so he's going to keep him in. Ricky Jackson will inbound it.
See, the other thing Randy Blair did, JP, is he drove too far. Once you get to that free throw line, you've got to stop if you've got those lanes filled. Because if you penetrate past that point, then you're cutting down the area on the floor that the defense has to cover. He should have stopped, even if he took the jump shot, because you've got somebody on each wing to rebound.
Blair did not go out, though. He's still in there with Thomas and Jackson.
They're not going to take that senior leadership out of there, number 1. Plus, he's the defensive player of the year in the conference. They are about to put him on the bench.
Here's Thomas. Looking low. Coleman did turn around. He fails it. Gerard Coleman. 8 points all in the second half. An 8-point lead for Illinois State with 11 and a half to go.
That's the nice thing. You get a guy like Jackson and Fowler to carry in the first half. Now you got Coleman. Now they start getting the ball to him. Look at how they're overplaying the passes.
The winner of this game tomorrow afternoon will face the winner of Creighton versus Wichita State, which is coming up. Out that Paul Weekly basket.
I want to tell you, there is a great move. There is great body control, and that's what you call forcing the contact and finishing the shot. Now, watch the entry pass. Nice. Watch now. There you go. Watch him. He knows he's going to get hit. Watch him slide between. Watch him hang long enough. Boy, that is great execution. Nice play by Paul Weekly.
Coleman had that foul.
He's dropped 30 pounds since last season, and I'll guarantee you, carrying the weight he carried last year, I doubt if he would have been able to make that kind of a move.
Coached by his dad in high school, Paul Weekly tries to make it a 3-point play. Couldn't do it. That would have cut the gap to 5. It stands at 6 with Illinois State leading it. They had trailed by as many as 11 in the first half. Thomas, now to Blair on his drive. And they're going to say he went out as he fell down.
Great ball.
Powell is ready to check into the lineup for Drake. I believe it'll be for Robinson. And it is for Robinson.
See what Drake has to do offensively. They got to spread out Illinois State and take away the weak side help. You got to shorten the passes, JP, so they don't get into the lanes. You got to take the ball to the action. The third thing is you've got to drive under control, and you've got to jump stop in the lane and look for the open men, because that's where ISU, now he can't report in on a dead clock. Now, I don't know if he came out when the clock was stopped, but you cannot go out and come back in until the clock has started again, and that's probably maybe what Harry...
Well, you're right. I think when the official beckoned him on, and then there seemed to be some confusion on the Drake's part as to who was coming out.
Okay, that's exactly right. Weekly probably couldn't go back in. That's why they caught it. That's good. Those are the things that Drake hasn't been doing for about the last 10 or 12, 15 minutes against the Illinois State defense. And when you play against that kind of Duke, Indiana, you know, Illinois State defense denying the ball and overplaying everything, you got to get the back doors and you got to do all the kinds of things that I was just talking about.
Shamble to Donaldson.
They've just been standing around too much and not moving and let Illinois State take them out of, as I said, out of their comfort zone.
Robinson to Shamble, who's not really been a factor from three-point range. Here's a steal.
Look at the hands.
Thomas has 19 straight games with a steal. Foul on Powell.
Boy, that's not bad. You know what? Blair, Thomas, and Jackson have 126 steals, and what you said earlier, they are, watch, you play defense with the feet, don't you? Yeah, but you supplement it with the hand action. There are great hands right there. Those three players have 126 steals, so you know that they're creating a ton of their offense with their defense, and that's critical, JP, when you're only shooting 43%. This is the worst shooting team in 20 years at Illinois State.
Thomas not only steals the ball, but leads the transition right back the other way, and that's the reason he's at the free throw line.
And he reacted, because reaction is the big key to being a good defensive player. You've got to react to what will happen, not to what just happened. How many times do you see players, something will happen, and all of a sudden they react?
Too late.
No, it is too late. The key is that you have to react to what will happen, not what just happened.
Thomas makes it happen at the line with a couple. He has 4 points. There's the lead up to 8 for Illinois State. Bunce is checked in. Eric Bunce with the ball. He replaced Donaldson. Bulldogs looking to get some momentum. Sams in and out. Blair the rebound. Quickly on the outside, here's Ricky Jackson. Thomas is open for the three, brought it inside.
Boy, that's a great head and shoulder fake. That's a great head and shoulder fake.
Powell commits the foul, his third.
You see him draw, watch him draw this defense to him. Watch. He comes flying out on him, right by him. Boy, that is terrific. He's got the hang time. It's a little easier for Thomas. What is he? He's 6 feet, 160. A little easier for him to hang than it was for Paul Weekly, who's up there at 6'6" and 218.
Yeah, 6 feet. We're a little bit away from him. Sounds a little generous, but if he's 6 feet, that's all he is.
It's in the guide that way. You know they're all out.
Yeah, I know. Which guide was it where somebody said that they all lost weight and lost inches this year? Right. Somebody had that. Tate's Locke said that about Indiana State. Here's Bunce on the kick out.
Boy, I watched them when that ball goes inside. You watch 5 players from Illinois State.
Robinson travel. 9-point lead for Illinois State. They've reversed an 11-point game. And they're really not playing Illinois State nearly as well as they played against Bradley, 3 games ago.
Exactly.
That game, they were awesome.
They get down to the defensive end again. The next time I'm talking about Illinois State, I'm going to make another observation about defense.
Here comes Thomas. Thanks for warning our viewers, Jim. Jackson with Bunce watching. Less than 9.5 to play, and Illinois State with a 52-43 lead, looking more and more like they want to play against the winner of the Creighton-Wichita State game. Pemberton, no room there, and a foul.
Yeah. Sam Powell ought to be mad. He's stomping all over the floor, and you know, he ought to be stomping because it was his man that stuck right inside of him. You know, you've got to find somebody. Now watch Powell, the player that, look, there it is, the player that rebounded the ball right there. Right there, that is a good replay. That's terrific because it's exactly the point I was going to make. Instead of finding somebody in a different colored jersey, he stood around ball watching. And I used to say to people when I was coaching, if you want to do that, my friend, I'm going to get you a pair of gloves so you can direct traffic.
Pemberton with a miss. He was 25 for his last 31 at the line after starting off the year 30 for 60 at 60%. There's his average for the year and his rebounds.
I mean, how people can stand around and see a guy in a different colored jersey and not put their body against his, I'll never understand. He let that man just get right inside of him.
Oh, Pemberton had the free throw jinx. He'd done so well at the line. He was shooting 80%.
You know, conversely, I have to give Pemberton a whole lot of credit for sneaking inside and having the reaction time to the glass.
Pemberton missed those two. He had been shooting 67%, but that had been coming up of late. Bunts did well just to control that ball. Sam's on the baseline, lost it.
I want our viewers to keep that angle on that camera because when that ball goes down inside, I just want them to see what we're talking about with the weak side help and everything and how 5 players are automatically rotating every time the ball goes inside.
Jackson will take it in. Now the kick out to Blair.
See, now's where you open it up a little. They're starting to pick up the tempo. Drake is defensively. They have to because the clock is against them now. Now you should be getting some back doors. Now you make them pay the price for starting to gamble and starting to overplay. That's what Blair is trying to do. He's looking for somebody to break.
Shot clock reads 10 now.
Now
Thomas. They don't see it. Jackson does. He'll take the three, and it's no good. Rebounded underneath. Bob Bender encouraging everybody to get back quickly as Chamel gives it to Bunts.
One of the few bad sequences they've had in a long time. They just didn't get into anything that time. Nice pass.
Sam's is wide open. That's a great pass from Rourke, who for a big man has better than 100 assists this year, 112 coming into the game. Those are nice numbers.
And that time Drake stepped inside the rotation. See, the rotation wasn't made quickly enough, and they picked it up, so give them the credit.
Blair beat everybody. Down low, an easy one. Blair has 6. It's 54-55. The lead stays at 9 with less than 7.5 to go.
God, I envy Bob Bender, I'm telling you. If I'd stayed in coaching, I wonder if I'd have jumped. I mean, he has jumped about 150 times in this basketball game, but that's what youth will do for you.
Down low to Sam's. 2-shot foul. Pemberton was in there, so is Jackson.
Well, Jackson's saying something to Pemberton, and I'm not quite sure that Pemberton... Now, I'm not sure that Pemberton did anything here. Jackson was mad at him, obviously, for stop. Well, he got him down below at the body right there. But that's the principle of verticality, my friend, because he is entitled to that position right there. He kept his hands up in the air. Once you bring your hands down and your arms down, that's when the official's going to get you. But what people miss most of the time, and that's why they were booing, is because they didn't see what happened down below when he hooked him with a leg and got him with his body.
Sam's at the free throw line, where he's hit on 64% of his shots. 9 points for Kevin Sams. 12 points a game, better than 4 rebounds.
You know, I have to tell you this about officiating because I did it for so long. You'll be happy since I called somebody by the wrong name the other night. I used to call the wrong colors when I was calling out the colors.
54-47, Illinois State still leading. Eddie Fields trying to figure things out. Immediately following this game, we'll be continuing our coverage of the Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference Tournament right here at Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. We'll have the quarterfinal game between Wichita State and Creighton. They have played 2 outstanding games over the last 3 weeks between each other. That game comes to you at 9 p.m. Eastern, so stick with us. Right now, Bob Bender and one of his assistants, that's Billy King, the former great player at Duke. He's really helped with the defensive effort here. That was his trademark at Duke. We could have a matchup here of two Duke alumni in Tony Barone and Bob Bender if, and I say if Illinois State wins this and if Creighton beats Wichita State. Pemberton coming back the other way.
You'll notice that Sam Rourke has only got 2 points in this second half in 13 minutes. They have really done a good job of shutting him down, and obviously no one has taken up the slack.
And he also has to worry about his 4 fouls.
You bet. Takes a lot of that offensive skill away when you know you can't do much, just like Jackson couldn't do for Bradley this afternoon.
Thomas. Give him 7 for the freshman. On the all-newcomer team this year, Richard Thomas. 9-point lead again for Illinois State. Campbell. Less than 6.5 to play. Sam's with a good fake, but he is short. Jackson the boards.
See, Sam should have taken the shot when he had it, JP.
Jackson will. That's good.
What he did was he put the ball on the floor. When he put the ball on the floor, he gave the Illinois defense a chance, Illinois State defense a chance to recover, and he took himself out of a shot.
Robinson will bring it out to Rourke. 2 points for Sam Rourke.
When you got a guy that can score the way he can, JP, you have simply got to get him the basketball, and I don't think Drake has done that in the second half. I don't care how long you have to hold it and how hard you have to work, but they ought to be getting the ball in that guy's hands.
Jackson to Fowler. Down low, Pemberton and a left-handed layup. And he was fouled. Sam.
You're going to see a couple of great things. You're going to see a great entry pass, and watch him seal the guy off. Watch Pemberton seal now. Watch him seal Sam's. Did you see how he stuck his left hand out to get that entry pass? He moved to meet the basketball instead of staying. Now what? There's Billy King right there. Yes, sir. Came over, chatted with him a little while at the shoot-around today, and the last hour's practice that they had. A fine young man.
Billy left broadcasting to go into coaching. Why can't you do that? Because March Madness reminds me of how much madness it is for me to have to work with you.
Well, do you want
Look
me to
at
tell
this
you,
mess.
You want me to tell you what coaching did to me? Seriously.
Go ahead.
I have only a third of my stomach left, my friend. I lost 2/3 of it when I was in coaching. And I'm enjoying this a lot more.
You know I'm joking.
Yeah, I know
Don't you? Well,
because when it's over, I can just do what I want to do. I don't have to live with it.
Robinson, the 2. He has 9 points.
I wasn't an easy guy to play for either, I'll tell you that.
I've heard the stories. Here's Blair, 61-51. This is the biggest lead. Illinois State. And we still haven't seen the Illinois State team that was so dominating here at home this year, but they are up by 10. Let's see if Drake can get right back into it.
That's good. That's good. He looked for the trailer. See, Weekly didn't have anything, and he had the presence of mind to look for that trailer, which was the right thing to do.
Get a foul, and it'll come back the other way. Looks like on Chamble. Ronnie Chamble gets his second personal foul. Watch how excited Bob Bender gets.
Watch. Oh, look at. Oh, God.
We have to find out who his choreographer is, because he must have somebody. You know, I'd like to show people, we might have another chance later, how excited he gets after a basket. He does some serious jumping.
He does.
Those clothes he wears get a workout. They must be stretchy material.
On a scale of 10, that was only about a 3.
Oh, yeah, that was nothing. Flores. 1 free throw, give him 3 points.
Only a 56% shooter. He's only shot 9 coming into this game, JP.
Flores will get a boat. 4 points for the sophomore from Chicago. 63-51, the biggest lead of the night. 12 points. Donaldson was rejected by Fowler.
See the weak side help? Boy, I mean to tell you, that is absolutely perfect.
Blair almost got by Robinson. Lost the ball, but there's Pemberton. Fowler trying to get down low against Sam Rourke. Rourke in foul trouble with 4.
Got the right idea. They're trying to post up Scott Fowler inside because Rourke's got those fouls. They just didn't get it to him that time.
Thomas goes in, almost got it. Rebound. Passed out by Rourke to Chamble. 2-on-1. Donaldson. Chamble.
Perfect execution. I waited to see if he was going to hold on to it too long and cut the floor down, but he got the defensive man moving, Blair, and then got the ball right to the man before Blair could recover.
10-point lead for Illinois State. Blair coming through, and he got it. No foul on either player. Randy Blair. He has 8 points. Lead is back up to 12. Sam Rourke down to Weekly.
I'll tell you one thing, Drake had better start picking up the pace because there's 3 minutes and 33 seconds and they can't waste much time getting the ball up on the glass.
Donaldson coming out.
They're down to 25 seconds on the clock.
The jumper is no good from Donaldson. A Blair rebound. And Illinois State has Sherrod Coleman and Ricky Jackson ready to come back in and provide some fresh legs.
They're going to spread it out. They're going in the 4 corner. Yeah, they're going to spread it out. Look at now. They haven't got anybody lower than the free throw line extended. No one. Blair is going to play one-on-one.
Great dish to Flores. It doesn't go. Foul underneath, though.
That's where you've got a team at a disadvantage because once you start making moves like that and spreading out the floor, JP, watch now. See, they're going to double and triple team right here because they're going to go and try to protect the basket. Now, look at Blair. What a great pass. But now, give all the credit to Flores also because instead of standing dead still on the other side of the floor, JP, he went to the basket and put himself into a position to get that pass. Give him as much credit as Randy Blair.
Sherrod Coleman is checked back in as Flores gets the free throw. Give him 5 points. He's made his last 3 free throws. Flores is at the line. Ready to take another, and he's going to vote. So there'll be a timeout on the floor. Flores has 6 points, 67 to 53. Illinois State will be back after this word from Pepsi. Well, they're dancing in the aisles at Illinois State, and they're dancing on the bench. Let's look at the Bender Boogie. Right after a basket is scored, he's looking, and here he goes. Right along with the music. Bob Bender done a great job this year here at Illinois State. Followed a winning coach in Bob Donewald, and there was a lot of controversy surrounding that when a winning coach was fired. And he has come in and done a great job with his club. There are the field goal percentages showing you part of the story. Bob Bender, by the way, played his high school basketball at Bloomington High School just down the road. So he was a popular choice here. Chamble, outside missing, Weekly. Drake's going to get some points every time they come up this floor. For the Bulldogs, Rourke, great dish underneath, and a basket by Weekly. He has 14 points. Blair will give it up. Don't forget, coming up right after this, Wichita State and Creighton, and the winner will play the winner of this game, and it looks more and more like it's Illinois State.
2 things going on now. See, they triple-teamed Randy Blair right there. Is that 5 fouls on Chamble? JP, I assume it is. That's his 5th.
Yeah.
Now, what they're doing, you've got a decision to make as a basketball team. If you're a good free throw shooter, that's all right. Let them come over and foul because you're going to go to the line, you're going to can the free throws, or there may be a possibility of getting an intentional foul. If you're not a good free throw shooting team, then as soon as you see that double or triple team coming, you've got to get rid of that basketball, spread out the floor, then you've got the numbers and you've got them chasing all over and they can never recover and you can burn all the time off the clock.
Blair is at the line. In and out. Rourke. Here's the long one. Chamble couldn't stay in. That's all right if they get 2 there, but that's a tough giveaway with 2:14 to go because they need points every time up.
Do you have to come down with 2 feet in bounds like the pros or what?
Aren't you the expert?
He was out of bounds.
Yes.
That I'll tell you.
Coming back, it's Jackson to Blair.
Illinois State is shooting 63% in the second half. And boy, I want to tell you, you want to talk about high percentage shots. I wish I had a shot chart because they have gotten great shots.
I got news for you. There's no room at this table for a shot chart. You've taken up all of it. I have no room for my notes. Drake has given a good account of themselves. I think the score is a little bit misleading at 67-55 at this point. It's a 12-point lead. And since the second half started, Illinois State has had things pretty much their way. But I tell you, the way Drake came out in the first half, and I asked Eddie Fields earlier if his team was very loose coming in, and he said not really. He said they're playing it to win. They know that they're not favored, but they don't come in loose at all. They're going as hard as they can to win games, and that was their attitude coming in. He didn't look at it like there was no pressure at all on him. He wasn't putting pressure the other way.
I thought the most critical thing they did was to get off to a very good start, because I had even one of their own people, not a coach now, say the first 5 minutes will tell you what's going to happen in this basketball game.
Sams down to Donaldson. 14 points is the lead for Illinois State. Shamble on the long skip pass. Donaldson for three, and he put it in. And an immediate timeout as Donaldson, that is his first points of the day. First points of the day, that three. He's been averaging 12. 69-58. It's an 11-point lead for Illinois State. Scott Fowler has 14 points to lead the way for Illinois State. They lead at 69-58. If you're tuning in now and you see this score, you might say, well, we expected that. But did you expect Drake to come out strong and lead by 11 at one point? Eddie Fields had to be awful proud of this club to take an 11-point lead. They're on the road. Granted, this is considered a neutral site for some teams, but this is really a home court advantage for Illinois State.
They were playing about as well as you could possibly play, JP, that early in the game. But then, as I said to you, they got away from what got them to where they were, and it was as basic as that. Now, the free throw line, Illinois State is 12 of 16 in the second half. 75%. Drake has only gone to the line 5 times. And obviously, there's going to be a big discrepancy because Drake has picked up the tempo, and they're going to foul and put him on the line and force him to make the free throws.
Blair hits it. I don't know, Jim, if you remember this or not, but earlier in the season, in a game against Indiana State in a loss, they only went to the free throw line 4 times, Drake, and they were 2 for 4. Indiana State won that game by a big margin, and they were 20 of 24. You can't win games by having 4 free throws, even if you hit them.
You aren't going to the free throw line, my friend. You aren't very active. That's as simple as it is. You aren't very active. You only go to the free throw line by going to the board and rebounding and driving or penetrating, doing things like that.
Look at Donaldson. That's a great move. A little too late, though, from Donaldson, who has 5 points. That's it. Blair is open. Fowler's more open. 16. Scott Fowler points. A steal and a foul. Weekly is out. That's his 5th.
Fouls on 42, Paul Weekly.
5 fouls on Paul Weekly. They came dressed for the game. Jackson will go to the line. They're loving it here in Normal, Illinois. Ricky Jackson will shoot free throws.
Illinois State had been a poor free throw shooting team, JP. You get into any kind of conference play or postseason play, tournament play, you darn well better shoot free throws.
Ricky Jackson is at the line. It's a 73-60 lead for Illinois State. They lead it by 13 points. They had trailed by 11 early in the first half of play, but they've led since they went into the dressing room at the end of the first half, and we've got another foul. Every time somebody goes to the line for Illinois State, it's the 1-and-1. Donaldson committing the foul. That's just his first foul. If this keeps up, though, it's going to take a long time to play the next 1 minute and 16 seconds as Blair will go to the line. But that's their only chance for Drake to come in.
I keep saying there's got to be an answer to this, but don't ask me what it is, because I'm not quite sure I came up with it, but it may be the international rules. But I'll tell you, you're right. It'll take a long, long time, because obviously Drake is doing, I'm not faulting what they're doing. That's exactly what I would do.
Time right now for our player of the game, our Pepsi player of the game, and it's time to salute a special forward on the Illinois State team, Scott Fowler. 16 points, 3 rebounds. Look at what he shot from the floor, 8 for 13. But remember, of those 16 points, 10 of them came in the first half when his team was struggling. That's why you picked him.
Struggling offensively.
Rourke in and out. And a foul is going to be called on Sams. And that'll be his second foul.
If that's the decision you make, and it's a right decision that Eddie Fields has made, it's no use letting him make that first outlet pass. As long as you're right next to him, reach in, do it so you're not getting the intentional foul, but just get him right back up to the line. The problem is that Randy Blair is going to the line, and as you said earlier, he's 66% at the line. He has gotten a ton of defensive rebounds tonight. The last time our stat man told me how many he had 7, but I suspect by now he probably has 8. Randy just turned around and smiled. Is that a brick or is that a brick? Look at, they're all starting to give him a little heat.
Even the home crowd's yelling air ball.
Well, you can laugh at it when it's 73-60, but that'll give you the incentive to work at the line a little harder.
Coleman missed. Sams will put it up, in and out. Good effort from Sams in the rebound, but he won't get it.
There's a case of trading an easy 2-point basket. There was nobody in front of Sams. I'm sure some of our viewers are saying, what is going on here? He made a decision to take the 3-point shot and try to get 3 instead of 2.
Why did Bob want a timeout?
I might have gotten the 2 and then called timeout so I could have gotten into my press.
There's Donaldson. Around and down. He has 7. Timeout called this time by Drake. Sure. Why did Bob Bender want the timeout?
I don't know. I didn't see him trying to call a timeout, JP, but my point was there was nobody between Sams and the basket. He was wide open. Nobody had made the transition down there in front of the shot, the basket in the 3-second lane, and he made a conscious judgment. I'm not, I always say that I don't tend to be critical. I want to be analytical. And from an analytical standpoint, I think I'd have gone and taken a sure 2 points and stopped that clock the second I slammed that ball.
It's over, fellas. Hey, if they go man on us, we're going to get 7 dead ball. We're going to go quick for Mario. Quick for Mario, okay?
It was tough to pick up that audio in there. We just heard the very end of it as Eddie Fields was leading the troops. Look at these musical instruments. Some people have personal messages that say hello to somebody. Others have slogans about Bob Bender, who's become so popular here. People have shirts with Bob Bender's name on it. They have nicknames for various groups. A very colorful crowd here, to say the very least. Sort of abnormal here in Normal. Did you like that, Jim?
Wow.
Not really, huh?
Wow. People will wonder also why, with 49 seconds left and it's 73-62, your job of coaching, and I know a lot of our viewers and listeners have heard this ad nauseum, but I still think you have to get players to realize instinctively what it is you want them to do. And that's why you call that timeout and you continue to do your coaching no matter what the situation is.
73-62, an 11-point lead, Illinois State. This one's theirs. With 42 seconds to go, Coleman missed. Sam Rourke is done for the night. And for Sam Rourke, a tough night indeed. A few nice assists, some nice passes on the part of Rourke, and 14 points, so that won't look bad on Sam Rourke's part, but not like the 25 points and 10 rebounds we saw him get against Creighton a couple weeks ago.
4 points in the second half,
That's
right?
all. That's
one of the elements that I talked about.
But he played with 4 fouls. At least Sam got to play this year in this Valley tournament. Last year against Bradley, his teammates were happy they won, but he suffered a serious leg injury and didn't get to play much at all in that one. Gerard Coleman at the line. Good rotation. He's got it. 11 points for Coleman, all in the second half as he has come to life here. Coleman will get another. The lead is up to 12, 74-62. Don't forget, we've got Creighton and Wichita State coming up. That should be a good one. They've had 2 excellent games over the last couple of weeks. The second one went in a double overtime before Creighton was able to pull it out.
Did you get a chance to look over on the bench, on the Drake bench when Rourke went out of the game?
Yes.
Pretty interesting, because there's a team that says, I said, you know, it's been a nightmare, and everybody knows about the Tom Abetamarco and the Tom Butler situation, but those people were up there hugging one another, and, you know, they know that it's his last ball game for Drake. At least they're sharing the feeling, the emotion that's involved with playing competitive sports.
It has been a tough year. We'd like to welcome at this point KWCH Television in Wichita to our telecast. No doubt, they're very interested in our upcoming game with the Wichita State Shockers and the Creighton Blue Jays. Are coming in at the end of this one with 25 seconds left in a 75-62 Illinois State game.
Hey, that's what